Alright, let's hope this recording lasts. I am gonna try to do some of the older what ifs that I've been doing. I'm also sorry for the over a week now that I've been taking off because we just had one of our pets passed away. We had to euthanize her. We had to put her down. She was in pain, so and I also took a vacation to get my mind off of all that. But I'm back. I'm doing this. Hopefully, this recording doesn't give out because I tried to do other recordings like yesterday, but it kept on giving out, so I just gave up. I'm getting my phone back eventually, so that will swap over to that, which meaning this little background of the color changing probably won't be here for much longer. Just gonna say this right now. This is another new what if, and if you guys like it, I hope you guys do. Because some people were asking, to do Jiro. I almost said Jericho. It's a whole different anime. Uh, but I said, you know what, screw it, I'll do it. And so this one is gonna be a Deku that listens to music. I personally love music. It's gotten me out of some dark times personally. Some very dark times, but all that stuff. So I personally listen to music to help me get over, like, if there's a death in the family, I listen to music. If I have, those suicidal thoughts, I listen to music about, keeping yourself alive and, you are worth that type of music. So, and in this what if, Izuku is gonna have a quirk. It's gonna think Black Bolt from Marvel. And if you don't know who he is, I'm right with you. All I know is that he has his superpower. And that he's a mutant, I think. I think he's a mutant. He might not be. I'm pretty sure he's an Inhuman. That's what he is. He's the king of the Inhumans. Haha. But if you don't know what his power is, I almost said quirk. His power is he can't talk. If he talks, think Present Mike, but like 1,000 times greater. If he whispered, it'd destroy. I think the comic said almost 100 something thousand tons of rock or something. Like, it was a crazy shit ton amount. Over a billion, I think. Like maybe 1,000,000 ton of rock. Either way, it was a crazy shit ton of rock, and it was in like it was high. And if you think about it in like the hero training course, if he was to whisper, he'd destroy almost every building in range. He's just that strong. I do believe he has super strength and a little bit of super speed. Not like crazy, not like nowhere near All Might. It's more like Kirishima's super strength, where you can break concrete and stuff. And like maybe Ida going on like not even using like 2% of his speed, maybe like 40 miles per hour, the Captain America type of level. So I know he's that. I know he has like those abilities. So that's what I'm just gonna give Izuku. I'm just gonna call this what if he had. I'm just gonna say what if he had Black Bolt. It's not Black Bolt. It's just his powers. I know jack shit about anything else besides his powers. His voice and some form of super strength, super speed. He can fly too, but I think that's more of his costume. Now Izuku in this world, when he was born, he was quirkless, just like everyone else, unless you're born with your quirk, like Tokiyami and other people. He was born, lived a normal life until he was 4, when, one day he was complaining to his mom about how his throat was starting to hurt. And, she realized that his voice was getting a little loud. And she asked if he could hear fine, and he said, no, he could hear, but, not that well, it just sounds a little, everything sounds a little quiet. And she says that he is, like, almost yelling. And so he starts quieting down, and, it goes down a little bit. She takes him to the doctor to see what's wrong, and the doctor says, this might be his quirk developing. She goes, but none of our family members have ever had a quirk that involves the voice or ears. And that's when he goes, well, there are rare instances, Jesus Christ, I'm not how to talk, where a person can develop a new quirk. It's like your quirk, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is you can pull small objects to you. He could have a quirk like that, where he can pull small objects to him, or he could have a whole another quirk like super strength. So, they want to do some tests, and, not quirk tests, but more like medical tests, check his ears and his throat. So he asks Izuku go, ah, and when Izuku goes, ah, the doctor starts bleeding from the ear, and his mom too. But he has little, he can't really. It just sounds like he's talking normally to him, I guess. And the doctor, asks him, like, thinks that's his quirk, and he's bleeding, and their ears aren't permanently damaged. He immediately asks Izuku to stop talking, and don't say anything for now. And he checks on his mom, and then the doctor, just thinks that it just caused bleeding. There is not really permanent damage. They will have a little bit of hearing loss, but not that much. And so he wants to take Izuku to a quirk testing facility. Izuku's there, and, they ask him to speak, and when he speaks, it rips the concrete out of the floor, and the building starts to shake. So they ask him to, try keeping his voice really low, like whisper. And so Izuku goes, okay, and that one word, the whole building begins to shake, and the roof starts caving in, and that's when they ask him, okay, no more talking. So they think, it's when he talks that his quirk, activates. So they take him to an entire steel building. There's no concrete, nothing that can break. And, they have him use his voice. And because they're in a caged steel thing and metal retracts the sound really well, or bounces steel voices, echoes really well, when he says it, it begins bouncing like a laser. Like, you can just see the ripples in the air of the, sound. Like, if you were to look at a radio wave, like from old cartoon, like black and white pictures of radio waves, that's what it looks like. And they keep testing it. And he eventually gets to the point where, he can't even whisper, or else it will destroy buildings. So, they ask him to not talk anymore. And, but Izuku's mother is concerned, how is he going to communicate? And they say, sign language. He'll have to learn sign language. I don't know sign language, and also I'm not showing any of my body parts on the camera. You're just seeing the blue light. So I'm just going to translate what he says in sign language so you can just picture it, and I'm pretty sure some of you don't know it. But Izuku takes sign language since he's 4 years old up. Bakugo bullies him for 2 reasons. One, he's a weirdo, not being allowed to talk. And 2, he just doesn't like him. There. Screw you guys. And so, to get over his, his feelings about not being able to talk and stuff, he listens to some music throughout his childhood. I'm not going to list any bands that I listen to because, frankly, you guys have different opinions. So picture any music you think that Izuku should listen to, or music that you listen to personally. That's the music he grows up listening to. And we'll say it's the same type of music Jiro's father got heard in listening to. And one day, when Izuku is 11, he's walking downtown, going to a concert that he just got tickets for, and, it's one of his favorite bands. You pick it, I don't care. For my opinion, it would be Five Finger Death Punch, as they have really inspirational music. And it's also kind of rock. It's not always rock, sometimes it's country, it's just good music. The band's great. And, you can choose your songs, though, I don't care. And Izuku, goes in. He's standing in the crowd, the music starts playing, and at the very end, they go, thank you, wherever the hell they are in Japan. They walk off stage, and the crowd starts leaving. And one of Bakugo's lackeys who realize that Izuku's there, and he turns to Bakugo and goes, isn't that Midoriya? And, Bakugo gets kind of upset, and he goes, what does that nerd think he's doing allowed in this concert? Walks over, and they start picking on him, pushing him over. And Izuku's trying not to, do anything, because if he even whispers, makes a slight noise, like a ow, like if you fall on your butt and you go, that will make his quirk activate. He has to be very careful. And Bakugo's hitting him, kicking him on the ground, and it's getting physical violence now. Not that it wasn't physical when they were younger. And all of a sudden, a young girl who's leaving the concert, who we all know as Jiro, walks over and, taps him on the shoulder and then punches Bakugo square in the jaw. And, he goes, what the hell? And she goes, what do you think you're doing, picking on a kid? Picking on him. Bakugo, not wanting to hit a girl, as you can literally go to jail for that, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I just know it's not right to do it. You're not right to hit anyone, but girls especially, apparently, according to the law. Whatever. And Bakugo walks off, upset, and he starts throwing shit. and his gang, try to calm him down. They walk off, and Jiro puts her hand out, and Izuku gets helped up. They're both around 11 years old. She says, is he okay? And Izuku, does sign language for yes. We'll just say Jiro, due to her mother wanting her to, took a little bit of sign language. She didn't fully do it yet. She's still taking it. But, she can understand that, she can read it. She asks him if she needs to do sign language or can she understand him, so she does it in sign language and saying it out loud. And he responds in sign language that, yes, he can understand her. She doesn't need to do sign language. She just needs to understand his. She says thank you. He says no problem. And, she asks him what his name is. He does Izuku Midoriya. She responds with Jiro, whatever the fuck her last name is. I don't know. And they get along pretty well. And we'll say the songs were over for that, and they had like a 20-minute break before the band came back up, so they go get food and water and stuff. And she asked him, if he wanted to sit with her, and he didn't mind, so he said, yeah, sure thing, if she doesn't mind. And they go walking, and she asks, are you mute? And like, why can you not talk? And he just responds with, it's his quirk. If he talks, he'll end up hurting a lot of people. She responds with, that's rough. I bet you have a nice voice anyways. Or, I bet you have a nice voice. And, they sit down, they chill. At the end of the thing, she gives him his number and says, if you ever want to hang out and talk, kind of just text me or call me. At 11 years old, they become friends. They hang out a little bit throughout their childhood. They are kind of far away from each other. But, they go to music concerts together and a lot. And they get to know each other. So, we skip 4 years. God, my math sucks. 1 plus 4 is 5. So, but either way, 4 years, and Izuku is at 10. Actually, technically 3 years because he's 14 before he turns 15. Well, before he's in UA. Either way, he wants to go to UA, and he tells his mom this, and she goes, "It's going to be very hard for him because he can't really use his quirk, or it will hurt people." He understands, but he also says to her that he has a little bit of super strength and super speed. He can run, we'll say, 56 miles per hour, and he can lift up to 1 ton. 1 ton, not tons. Tons is multiple. 1 ton. And, he can break through solid concrete walls. He can bend steel. He's not incredibly strong, but he's strong enough to do all that. And so he'll be really good at, fighting off villains and rescuing work. He can lift pretty much any debris unless it's over a ton. He can run pretty fast and he can punch pretty hard. And she goes, yeah, but having fast legs and strong fists don't make a great hero. It's your heart that matters. And Izuku takes that to heart. And he begins training, but the day after school is what he says. He'll begin training on trying to control his voice. He'll go to a secluded area, maybe the old Dagobah Beach where no one goes to anymore, and try controlling his voice as much as possible. Now, the one thing with Izuku's quirk is it's incredibly strong. A whisper from him is like President Mike yelling at his top, at his highest peak at his voice, as loud as he can. That's a whisper from Izuku. If Izuku yelled, it could wipe out a whole city block. Not even a block, like a whole city. And, he learned how to use his breaths as attacks. So when he breathes out, it makes a noise. So if he does a whistle, it makes if he goes, or that will be a gust of noise that shoots. And that one little noise from whistling, a small, can shoot straight through concrete like little bullets. And he learns that over the 10 months. But first, he's walking home the first day after school, and he's getting ready to go to Dagobah Beach, whatever you want to call it. And he walks, and he's gets attacked by a sludge villain. He's wrapping around him, and sludge villain goes, "Why don't you use your quirk, kid?" And Izuku, can't respond because his hands are being held up. And the guy goes, "Huh," confused. So he starts pulling Izuku's arms to make him talk. And Izuku goes, "Ow!" And the whole little thing there under collapses on top of them. the sludge villain slimes out, and All Might sees that sludge villain's getting his way out of debris, and he just knocks the sludge villain out. And All Might was like almost there. He was landing as he saw the kid say the "ow," and the whole building like fell. And All Might's now like pushing debris around, trying to get the kid out. And he sees Izuku holding up some of the debris above him, so it's not like crushed him. And All Might lifts the debris up, throwing it, and he helps Izuku up. And he goes, "Are you okay, kid?" And Izuku responds in sign language, "Yes." And All Might, being the great hero he is, made sure he can communicate with everybody to make sure they're okay. He took sign language, took other languages. He's All Might. He could do that. Plus, he's, I don't know, old. And he goes, "Oh, you speak in sign language?" And Izuku responds, and he goes, "Can you talk?" And Izuku shakes his head and goes, "Oh, good, because I thought I heard you say ow. Are you okay? Did he hurt anything?" And Izuku just, in sign language, says, "My shoulder. It's a little in pain, but that was it." He goes, "Okay, what's your quirk? When you said ow, the whole building, or the whole tunnel you were in collapsed. Or you were in." And Izuku responds with, "Think of President Mike. Do you know who he is?" And All Might goes, "Yeah, he's he's President Mike. He's the hero, with the sound quirk, with the voice quirk." And Izuku goes, "It's like that, but 10 times stronger. One whisper can destroy a whole city block." And All Might goes, "Oh, so that's why you're not talking." And Izuku responds with yes in sign language. Keep remembering that it's sign language. It's not him actually talking. All Might goes, "Okay, well, it was a nice chat." And Izuku says, "Wait," grabbing All Might's arm, not actually saying anything. And, then says, "Wait, can you sign this?" All Might looks at him, signs it, grabs the sludge villain and jumps off. And Izuku gets happy and starts walking away from the debris. Izuku doesn't climb on. He would, but he realizes that All Might, needs to get the villain away. He's smarter than he is in canon. Because unlike in canon, his life isn't as bad. It's bad, but it's not as bad. He can still become a hero. He knows it. But, while walking down to the beach, he passes, who? Deku, Bakugo, pushes Izuku, telling him to watch where he's going. Izuku doesn't pay attention and he continues walking. Bakugo thinks he's ignoring him, so he grabs Izuku by the shoulder, pulling him onto the ground, and goes, "What, are you ignoring me, Deku?" And Izuku goes, "Enough." And Bakugo goes not even 300. We'll say 30 feet in the air and falls back down, breaking his elbow. And Bakugo goes, "What the hell?" Izuku, tries to say sorry, but he shuts himself up. Because Izuku's had enough with, all the people, with all of Bakugo's bullshit. And he was just attacked by a sludge villain, so he's kind of, and he met All Might, so, he's not really thinking clearly. He goes to help Bakugo, who pushes him off and runs off. Not crying, but holding his arm, kind of pissed off. Izuku continues walking, doesn't think about it. Meanwhile, we see in the far background an old man with blonde hair sticking up as All Might is tailing Izuku. After getting Sludge Villain away, he decided to check on the kid and make sure he was okay. And All Might thinks that kid needs help controlling his quirk. So he follows Izuku, and also thinks, he could be a good candidate. He clearly knows restraint. And, so he follows Izuku to where he's going to train, and he sees Izuku's at Dagobah Beach, the place he was going to take his successor to train. And he's thinking this kid is great, perfect for a candidate for One For All. And, he walks over to Izuku, tapping him on the shoulder. Izuku gets surprised, turns around, and, with his hands up, getting ready to punch whatever tapped him. And, that's when All Might buffs up and goes, "Hey, kid." And Izuku's surprised, and in sign language he says, "Here, All Might?" And All Might goes, "Yep. I would like to help you train." And Izuku goes, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "But first, how did you... so small? How are you so small? Jesus." And All Might explains everything up to the sludge, up to the injury and nothing more. Not about One For All, because he just tells them that he was injured and that was it. He doesn't tell them about One For All yet. So Izuku knows that he has a timer, but he doesn't know about One For All being able to pass down and all that. Izuku, asks if he's okay, and he goes, "Thanks for worrying about me, but I'm fine, kid." And he goes, "So what were you planning on doing here to train?" Give me a second. And he goes, as he responds with, "Well, I'm gonna try, controlling my voice, and all that, to see how quiet he can go, but also keep it, like using his quirk." All Might asks if he wants help, and Izuku, responds with, "Of course, from you," and All Might realizes that this kid is still a fan, even though he hides his emotions pretty well. Because if Izuku gets excited and says something, or if he gets like angry and says something, so he tries to hide his emotions as best as possible. Which All Might, says to Izuku, you shouldn't hide your emotions. Your quirk doesn't allow you to talk, right? And Izuku goes, "Yes." He goes, "That doesn't mean it should stop you from feeling. You can feel happy and excited without talking. You can express that you are through through motion, and the look in your eyes right now tell me that you're excited." Izuku, says, "Thanks for helping," and All Might goes, "No problem. I can't help today because I am going to UA to talk to the principal. He wanted to ask me something." Izuku goes, "No way. Are you gonna be a teacher at UA?" And All Might goes, "Potentially. I'm not 100% sure." And Izuku goes, "Well, I hope you are because I'm going this year." And All Might goes, "If I am, I can't wait to see you become a great hero." Jumps off. Izuku's like jumping up and down when he hears a familiar voice. It's Jiro, who walks up behind. She doesn't know why he's so excited. She asks, What's so exciting, Izuku?" And he turns around and he goes, in sign language, he goes, "Well, I just saw All Might." And she goes, "Really? Where?" And he points, and All Might, all you see is All Might's big shadow going across a building. She goes, "No way! Did you talk to him?" And he goes, "Mm-hmm." And, well, he goes, "Yes," but he doesn't say it because he says that he'll kill everyone on the beach. She asks he asks what she's doing down here, and she explains that she was walking up by the parking lot with her family, and she saw him down there, so she figured she'd come say hi. And, the two of them, only see each other like maybe twice every year, ever since they were 11, because, they live kind of far away, and Izuku's family's not the richest. And Momo, she keeps in touch, and they're good friends. And Momo, now that she's older, starts to get a kind of bit of a crush on Izuku, who doesn't really have many feelings. She doesn't know, she can't tell because he doesn't show his feelings often. Only when it comes to heroes and music. Those are the only times he ever shows his actual feelings for anything. Or emotions. And, so it's kind of hard to read if he likes her or not. So she puts it on the back burner. And, she asks, if he's, what's he doing for, next year for school. And he explains that he's going to go to UA and he's going to try to get into Class 1A. She explains that she's going to try that too, She goes, "Well, I wanted to, go to UA as well, And Izuku goes, "Really? Hopefully we get in the same class, then we could, hang out more, And she high-fives him, the two of them, do their secret handshake, bam, 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 picture whatever you want. That's when she asks, what's he doing down here at the beach, and he goes that he's getting ready to train. She asks if she can join him more often, as, it's not that far for her house to here. And Izuku goes, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, I just moved closer, so when I go to UA, it won't take so long." And he explains, "Oh, that's great, maybe they can hang out more too. Even now they can hang out more. Because his house isn't that far from here either. It's like a 30-minute walk from his house to the beach, and it's like a 20-minute walk from her house to here, so it'd be like a 50-minute walk from his house to her house. So they can hang out. And she says, "Yeah, sure thing." And then and her parents call down, "Sweetie, it's time to go." She goes, "Okay, I gotta go, but I'll meet you here tomorrow." And he goes, "Yeah, sure thing." And, she walks off. Izuku's, ecstatic. He just met All Might. He, stood up for against Bakugo. And one of his friends is moving, so he can hang out with her more often. It's a great day to be alive in Izuku's world. But he thinks, it is getting late. Maybe he should go home, but he'll try a little bit of training. you know, and he's punching a steel fridge, I guess we'll say, just to make him so just to see how much damage he can do to the fridge. He dents a bunch of it, and he decides to hit the corner of it, and his fist goes through the corner, and he cuts from his middle finger knuckle all the way down to his wrist where the joint is, and from his pointer finger to the same point, and they go into like they connect into one line at the end, and Hizuku screams out in pain. No one's there, and this is where we find out Izuku has a bit of a healing factor. Not like Deadpool, nothing like Deadpool or Wolverine. More like Quicksilver or the Flash, where it heals a couple hours. He goes home and his mom sees that his hand's bleeding, and she asks, are you okay, And he explains that he cut his hand open, and so she bandages it up. And in the morning when he looks at it, it's not even scarred. It's all gone. And, he's confused, so he figures maybe it's his quirk. Maybe he has some form of healing. His mom did say he heals amazingly fast for a kid of his age. But, she always pushed it off of him being a kid, because kids heal way faster than grown-ups do, because their bodies are younger and can take more punishment. That's why the older you get, the less active you can be. That's why, like, wrestlers, when they get over the age of, like, 50, maybe even pushing it on to 60, they retire because, they can't go anymore. Their bodies can't take any more damage. Even though wrestling is sorry if I'm offending any of you, but a fake sport. It's not fake. It's real potential to hurt yourself. But it's all choreographed. It's like a dance. It's amazing. It's like acting, You take a hit here and there, but most of it's a show that you put on for the fans that you wanna, all that. Sorry if I did offend any of you. And Izuku gets over the 10 months, and at the 8-month period, Jiro's, starting to really get feelings for Izuku, seeing him push himself so hard to control himself and his quirk. So, and she got to meet All Might, too, because All Might agreed to work with Izuku, and here's the first time All Might lands the next day. We'll just do the next day bit. The next day, All Might lands, and Izuku's there, and, I almost said Momo, and Jiro's there. And the two of them are, hanging out, and Izuku's, punching the wall. He's punching something, and he's denting it. And All Might shrinks down, walking up and tapping Izuku on the shoulder, who turns around, and says, "Oh, you're here." And, All Might asks, who's she? And he explains that she's a good friend that he hasn't seen in many, many months, and she just moved here recently, and they're going to be hanging out and training together, if that's okay with him. He says, "No problem. Do you trust her?" is what he says, asks. And Izuku goes, "Of course, with my life." And he goes, "Okay, fine, I guess you could know." And he goes, in his head, he goes, "Oh, God, Principal Nezu's going to kill me. I shouldn't be revealing my quirk to two civilians." But whatever, puffs up. He goes, "I am here." Jiro falls down onto her back and goes, "Oh, All Might?" And he goes, "No need to fear. I am here, and I am mighty." And she asks, why was he so small? And he explains everything the same. 5 years back, I took a nasty hit, destroyed most of my stomach, and now I have a time limit on my powers. And she, she's like, "Oh," and she asks why he's here, and he goes, "Because I saw Izuku 2 days ago. No, day ago. I saw him yesterday. He's fought a villain, and I went to check up on him when he explained he was trying to control his quirk, and I said I'd help him." And this is the point where I am going to ask, should Izuku get One for All, or should Muriel? I think Izuku shouldn't get it, because he's already going to be powerful. I mean, like, legitimately, you'll see during, fights, because he'll be stupid powerful. A whisper is strong enough, think, when Izuku flicks his fingers in the sports festival, one whisper is like that much force. Just bam. Just wind and everything. And, the louder it is, the stronger it gets. And, that's a whisper. That's like him going, and, like him like getting upset, going, enough. That's how, you know. And if he goes like how I'm talking right now, it'd literally break the entire stadium and everyone would die. So all that stuff. But they start training. All Might, you know, keeping an eye on Jiro, and he realizes that, you know, she's kind of strong, and he, you know, asks, you know, what does a quirk do? And she explains that she can send pulses from her heart through her earlobe or her ear jacks into objects. And he goes, why don't you make speakers like on your hands and feet? And, you know, she thinks about it and goes, that's a good idea. And he goes, well, because you're going to be requesting your costume, and, well, if you do that, you can request for these items, and they should give it to you. And she realizes that's a good idea. And Izuku, I got nothing for you, buddy. But, I mean, you're already powerful and strong enough to take out pretty much many opponents without using your full quirk. You know, and Izuku goes, thank you, you know, in sign language, and he goes, but I think I discovered something new. And that's when All Might goes, you know, what is it? And Izuku makes a small whistle, and he goes, and that little whistle shoots straight through 3 things of steel. And All Might's, you know, like, whoa. And he goes, and Izuku in sign language says, I think I'm going to call it Whisper. You know, and All Might goes, why Whisper? And he goes, just sounded catchy. You know, and Izuku goes, it sounded catchy, and maybe Whisper Bullet. Or, like, Whistle Bullet. I don't know. You know, All Might goes, I like Whistle Bullet. That sounds neat. And it does hit like a bullet. You know, and Izuku goes, yeah, I guess. And, they continue training, and during the final month of them training, All Might decided to not, you know, he said he couldn't come anymore after, like, the 8th month. So the final 2 months they were on their own, because he went and trained, if he did, he went to train Muriel, if you guys want him to have the quirk, or if you want Izuku to have the quirk, he went, because he's been lacking on his hero duties. Those are the 2 options, you know, he went and trained Muriel, or he went to do his hero work so he can give the quirk to Izuku. Either way, it's up to you guys. You know, at the final month, you know, Jiro has straight up feelings for Izuku, you know, and she wants to ask him out, but afraid that he won't have the same feelings for her. So she, you know, kind of pushes her feelings deep down. But, during the final day of them training, Bakugo shows up. Pissed. You know, his arm took almost 10 months to heal. And, you know, and that was using a couple healing quirks, because no one is as good as Recover Girl will say. You know, and he lost all of his training time because of Izuku. And he, you know, him and Izuku get into a fist fight on the ground. And Izuku punches Bakugo in the jaw, knocking him over. And Izuku climbs on top of him, hitting him in the ribs. The 2 of them start fighting it out. And, you know, Jiro puts her things, sticking one into Bakugo's neck and in Izuku's neck, basically knocking them both out. Or not out, but knocking them both off each other. And she goes, both of you, enough. You're acting like childs. And, you know, Bakugo goes, whatever. And Izuku looks and points and goes, he started it. You know, and she goes, I don't care who started it, but both of you need to knock it off. You guys are trying to become heroes, right? You know, Bakugo goes, who the hell do you think you could talk to me about becoming a hero? Practically already am one. And then that's when, you know, Jiro loses it and goes, you're nowhere near being a hero. You're picking fights with civilians. You're getting angry too easy. And, frankly, you're a bit of a bastard. You know, and Bakugo, you know, gets upset, you know, gets ready, you know, and he goes to hit her, and Izuku catches his fist, slamming his face into the sand, leaving his face print in the sand. And, you know, grab Bakugo by his throat, throwing him into a wall, you know, getting angry, and, you know, Momo has never seen Izuku actually get angry at anything. And Bakugo is now sliding down the wall unconscious. He's fine, but he's unconscious. You know, and he goes, Izuku turns and goes, are you okay? And, you know, Jiro looks at him and goes, yeah, thanks, you know. And she looks at Izuku and goes, Izuku? And he goes, what? And she goes, this might be weird, and I really hope we can stay friends, even if you say no. Would you like to go on a date? You know, and Izuku doesn't answer, and she's, you know, like, I'm afraid you wouldn't want to. And that's when Izuku goes, no, it's not that I don't want to, it's just it caught me off by surprise. I figured you didn't like me. And she goes, why do you think I wouldn't like you? And he goes, because I figured I scared you. And she goes, what do you mean scared me? And he goes, well, I don't know, that if I ever, lost control of my voice, accidentally hurt you or anybody else. She goes, you don't scare me, I know you have control over yourself. Unlike that guy, who Bakugo is still unconscious, drooling now. And Izuku goes, yeah, I'd love to. And the two of them hug, and then that's when, Jiro backs off a little bit, and, Izuku backs off, and she goes, I guess we do have, 2 weeks before the entrance exam. Do you want to go on a date on, Monday? And Izuku goes, sure. And, he goes, I should get Bakugo back to his house. And, she goes, yeah, I should be going myself. And they walk off separate ways. Bow, chick, wow, wow. Izuku picks up Bakugo by the shirt and drags his ass across the beach. Then when he gets to the stairs, he drags him up it, but on his back so his face doesn't hit the stairs. And he just bump. And he keeps dragging him across the street, and everyone thinks he's carrying a dead body. People were freaked out, some kids were running in fear. Izuku arrives at the Bakugo's residence and goes, and Bakugo's mom opens the door and goes, oh, he attacked you again, didn't he? And Izuku, responds with yes in sign language, and she goes, here, give the brat to me. I'll make sure to scold him. And he goes, thank you. And she goes, no problem. Stay safe, tell your mom I said hi, and I'll be coming over soon. And, and Izuku goes, sure thing, walks off. And Bakugo wakes up, his mom's sitting there with her hand wide open, just waiting. He opens his eyes and wham, right across the cheek. And she goes, you an idiot? Izuku told me the whole story. You try to hit a woman, wham, hits him again. And Bakugo's like, what the hell did I do? And she kicks his ass, and walks off. And we flash back to Izuku, who's walking to his house, like, oh crap, did that really just happen? Did Jiro really just ask me out? He's holding his head, he's confused. And when he gets home, he walks in, and, guess who's there? Big, old, fat, motherfucking... You thought I was gonna say Inko. No, I was gonna say, crap, I can't think of his name. Trying to think of his name. Toshinori. All Might. Sorry, I should have just said All Might. Toshinori. He's there because he's explaining to his mom that he wants to, train Izuku more. And he's in his All Might form, and he's asking this. She freaks out, and, starts hitting Izuku on the shoulder, going, how didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me that you were, you knew All Might? All Might's, kind of, just standing there. His head's barely touching the ceiling. He's kind of, tapping his foot. And she goes, of course, All Might, if you want. And, yeah. I might leave this off here, just hoping that the tablet doesn't cut out on me. But screw it, I'm going to continue going. I'll do the entrance exam, and then that will be it for today. This probably will be the only video coming out today, depending on what I want to do. Okay. Entrance exam, Izuku walks in, doesn't trip. Him and Momo... Well, actually, I'll do him and Jiro. I'll do him and Jiro's date. They meet up at a little place they, I don't know, knew. They're sitting there talking, and Izuku, says, you look great. And she goes, thanks, you look good too. And, the two are there kind of awkwardly sitting there. And the reason they're sitting there so awkwardly is because Jiro's parents are not so greatly disguising themselves as a couple across the table. Or a couple tables, behind them. Izuku can't see them, but Jiro can, and she's kind of gonna kill them. And Izuku's kind of weirded out because his mom is on the opposite side, behind Jiro. And, the two of them talk, they have a great dinner, and, she goes, can we go somewhere a little more private? And Izuku goes, please, you have a place? She goes, yeah. And she takes Izuku's hand and they walk up a little store. And Jiro's parents and Izuku's mother try to follow when they bump into each other, and when they bump into each other, like, while walking down, and they realize they're following the same kids. And, that's when, Jiro's father goes, oh, you must be the boy's, mother. And she goes, oh, so you're the girl's parents. And she goes, yeah, and, Jiro's mom goes, yeah. And, they go, wow. Yeah, she goes, wow, you're really protective. That's good to know. And, they go, well, so are you. That's great. And they start bonding, and then they look back for the kids, and they're gone. And the two of them are now at the beach where they've been spending the past 10 months together, sitting down with their toes in the water. Not in the water, in the toes in the sand, not in the water. Silly me. But, they're holding hands, and Jiro, asks if, he, would like to be her boyfriend, and Izuku's like, oh crap, moving a little fast, but yes, and he says, of course. And he goes, any man would be lucky to have you as their girlfriend. And she blesses, she goes, that was cheesy, Izuku. And he goes, yeah, I know. And they kind of just sit there. It starts getting dark, and, they stand up, and they're about to go their separate ways, and Izuku, says, he had a great time, even though their parents were following them. And she goes, yeah, it was great. And she smiles, and then she kisses him on the lips very fast, and lets go of his hand and starts walking away. Zuku's sitting there with his hand on his lip, and, just falls on the ground. Just passes out, straight up. Blood rushes to his head, he dies right then and there. He has a heart attack, clear! Nah, he just, he's in shock. She says, bye, Zuku. And he goes, bye. Doing the sign language for bye, whatever it is. And he starts walking home, and we do the entrance exam. I gotta hurry up. Okay, entrance exam. He does not trip. He does the same as in the test. Bakugo and him are arguing. Ida does the whole speech. Ida does the whole questioning the President Mike. Then they begin. Izuku does not trip. He doesn't see Uraraka. He doesn't even go bother her. So Ida doesn't do that whole bullshit. President Mike says, ready, set, go, and Izuku starts running. He's running at a solid 40 miles per hour. And Ida's, keeping up with him. Izuku starts pushing it to 50. Ida keeps up. Then Izuku pushes it to 56. And then he can't go any faster. And Ida pushes it, running straight past him. And Izuku stops in the middle of the city and, starts fighting robots. One comes at him straight in the front, and he catches the robot's fist, uppercutting it, basically decapitating it. And his arm goes underneath the robot's arm, hitting the robot's chin, and pulls out, ripping the robot's arm off. Then he swings the robot's arm, hitting the robot that's next to that robot, smacking it in half. A robot grabs him from the back, with its arms around his shoulders, and holding him down. He bends forward, flipping the robot over his back, and he stomps on its head. And right now he has a total of 10 points. When the zero pointer attacks, not 10 points. We'll say he had 15 points when the zero pointer attacks. The zero pointer attacks, and he begins to he doesn't panic, but he doesn't he doesn't fight it. He does what Bakugo does and ignores the zero pointer for a moment, and he takes out another two robots and goes from 15, we'll say 20. So he has 20 points now, and then he hears Uraraka scream when he turns, stomping his foot, rushing right past Ida, who, sees the kids running towards the robot, thinks he's crazy, continues running away, and Izuku, catches the debris that's about to fall on top of her leg, holding it up, and drops it, and helps her up. When she goes, watch out, Izuku turns around, going, back off, and the robot falls over with all of its armor ripping off, and it's all of its wires and, its, frame is there. It looks like C-3PO when his gold plating is off. And, he fell over. And Uraraka got pushed back 16 feet. And Izuku realizes that he pushed her back. Turns over and, says sorry in sign language. She didn't really take sign language because she couldn't afford it. So she doesn't understand. He turns around and, goes, might as well. In his head, he goes, stay down. and he doesn't say it as loud as I did. He says it like whispering it, and the robot goes flying, and its head like hits the edge of the city wall and blows up. And Izuku just took out the 6-pointer, and we'll say another 12 robots, which got him a total of 30 plus 20, so 50 plus 60, over 110. Hallelujah. Okay, so we got 110 rescue points. 60 rescue points, 50 regular points, add them together, 110. There you go. Am I doing the math wrong? I shouldn't be, because 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 10 is... Yeah. Yes. I'm right. Never second quest yourself. But, yeah. Izuku's, he's walking out like a badass. He helps Uraraka up, apologizing in sign language. She can't understand him. And she goes, why aren't you talking? And Izuku tries to explain it in sign language. He goes, I don't speak sign language. And, he puts his head down, and he grabs his phone out of his pocket and starts typing, and she reads it, and it goes, because if I use my voice, if I speak, it will end up hurting everyone, like when I said back off, and you went flying. And she goes, oh, it's your quirk. And he nods his head, typing, yeah, sorry about hurting you. And she goes, you didn't hurt me, it's fine. And, and she goes, my name's Chako Uraraka. And he goes, Izuku Midoriya on phone. And, walks off. And the test ends, and we're leaving it at that. You know who it is. Alright, so this was my first video back. I hope you guys like it. I guess this is what if Deku had Black Bolt's powers, I guess, apparently. I don't know. I might do another one where Izuku has a teleportation quirk, like an instant teleportation. Either he's going to be a villain in that one, or he's going to be a good guy in that one. I want to do a villain one so I can have him use knives and stuff. So that way he can throw the knives and then teleport in front of his enemy and punch him, and get hand-to-hand combat and then dodge the knife as it hits his enemy. Catching his enemy off guard as knives come flying when Izuku dodges. It was just a cool idea. Or you could teleport with a katana and cut people's limbs off and zip, 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 zip. Or you can be a hero. I don't care. But I am thinking about doing that one. I might do a Jedi one. It's just so hard to do, because how do I make him a Jedi if the Jedi don't exist? So I was thinking, here's my idea for that, and I'm just going to explain it to you guys. Izuku Midoriya was born, and he was taken by the Jedi Order. He was trained until he was 12 years old. Then he, was under the apprentice. He was an apprentice to a Jedi Master, who trained him for another year. So when he was 13, Order 66 happens, right? And he escapes. I'm not going to explain that, because if I do this what if, it's going to be a surprising detail that I want to keep hidden. But he escapes because of something happening. He goes into an escape pod. But while his escape pod is going, they get sucked into like a wormhole, a temporal wormhole, I guess we'll say. And he gets frozen in time, and he sits in that wormhole for over 60 years, and then the wormhole spits him out in some random spot in space, where he spends another 20 years flying to Earth, and he crash lands and wakes up out of his sleep, and he hasn't aged at all. Okay? And he has his lightsaber. His master did pass away, but he has his master's lightsaber, and his lightsaber is green bladed because he's really in tune with the Force and doesn't really like fighting that much. His master, however, is a blue bladed, well, a brighter blue, more like almost crystal-like color blue, like that color that just appeared, the first color after the green. And Izuku uses like this green right here, and then his master's is that. Cool. Okay. That is another idea. And I'm gonna try to do Superman and Flash next. And then I'll do another Hulk, maybe another Hawkeye, and then maybe another Jason Todd. If I can do another Jason Todd, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch all those series. Oh, but I don't have enough time because I'm looking for a job and also trying to do my school work and also trying to have enough time to hang out with my family. So I don't know. YouTube's kind of a back burner object for me right now. It's kind of like something I do when I'm bored or lonely. And I'm not planning on doing this forever, so this channel will eventually die. You know, like, probably when I move. Because when I move, I'm going to have to focus. I'm going to be, I don't know. I'll be 17, 18 when I move. So in like 2 to a couple years. You know, like 2 to like maybe 1 to 2 years. So, yeah. But, I'll, you know, I will, okay, here's the thing. I will keep the channel alive as long as possible, but eventually I'm going to swap over from doing what-ifs to other stuff. Like, I think I'm going to do a reaction channel. Like, this, I'm going to switch this over, I'm going to do reaction videos. It's going to be very boring reaction videos, but basically I'm going to react to the whole episode. No audio, no video for you guys. You guys will literally pop up on your screen and, like, plug a headphone in one ear and listen to it in the other, and then you'll just hear my commentary over what's happening. Of course, I watch a lot of shows. The only shows I do not watch are, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil and all that stuff. And I have never seen any of that stuff, because Marvel movies are the only things I watch from Marvel, not the TV shows. I watch all of the Flash and Arrow shows. I'm already, you know, caught up. We all know that I watch My Hero Academia. And Seven Deadly Sins I watch a lot of other anime, not all of them, but I watch a lot of anime. But, you know, I only can watch stuff off of Netflix, because Netflix is a beautiful thing. Maybe I'll do, like, re-reactions to shows, like, you know, like, season 1 of My Hero Academia, I'll watch it again and, like, give my opinion on it while I'm watching it. So that might actually be what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Okay. Alright. How's your signing out? Hope you guys like this one. I hope you guys stay safe. Jesus. I'm gonna stab myself right in the fucking leg. Stay safe. Stay good. Whatever. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys stay safe. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry. I'm butchering everything. I hope you guys really did enjoy this one, because I enjoyed making this one. Bye. Hazard out.